Hey everybody, you are watching the Short Film Ideas channel, and this is Chike Kamara, and today is day 9 of the 10-day Short Film Idea Challenge, and I'm going to jump right into it. Every day for 10 days, I come up with a short film idea and post it on YouTube. I give you the source, I give you my thoughts on the source, and then I give you the idea. And what I'm trying to do is give you a process that you can use to come up with short film ideas yourself. Okay, so let's get into it. Day 9. All right. So my source today is an interesting one because I have a source, but the resulting idea is only thinly related to the source. Okay. And you'll understand what I mean in a second. Okay. So my source is I see an old man and woman walking through my neighborhood, and I see them when the weather is nice and it's sunny out. I see them every morning walking, and it's a lovely thing. I don't know if I don't think it's on the weekends, but I do see them during the week because it's usually after I put two of my sons on the bus for school, and it's around that 10 o'clock time frame. And it's like an elderly man and an elderly woman always walking, going for a walk around the neighborhood, and they're like, they've got to be in their 80s, and they're walking a little slow, but they make their way through the neighborhood, and it's very very cute. So that is the source. That is the source. All right. So my thoughts on the source. Here are my thoughts on the source. An idea pops into my head. I don't know why, but I see this image of an old man in his garage or tool shed working on a robot, a fairly modern, detailed robot. I don't know why that popped into my head, but it was a pretty cinematic image. It was almost like a Steven Spielberg sci-fi science fiction type image. He's working in his tool shed, and the light is flickering on and off, and music with violins are playing, and the old man is proud of his design or whatever. And it was just, the light was stark and cutting his face. And then I got that image. And every time I get images like that now, first of all, I keep a notebook with me, and I advise you to keep a notebook with you as well, so you can write down things that you see, because those might be the great ideas that you're looking for. So, but anytime I see something or start having cinematic images, I try to investigate further and try to pull out the rest of that possible film for later use or future use, because you never know. I mean, those are, like, to me, like blessings from the art gods. When you get those bursts of insight or those visions, those artistic visions, you should write it down. Okay. So anyway, so I had that vision, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. We have an old man. We have a fairly elaborate robot that he's built, a human-like robot that he's built. All right, that's interesting. It's also compelling to me at the same time um, because you have the dichotomy between the old man, kind of a relic of the past, and this robot, sort of the future of life as we might know it. So there's already a bit of a dichotomy there. And although it's not necessarily a problem that we have to solve with that situation, unless I make it a problem, but having that dichotomy is compelling, and it makes people say or think, well, where is this going? And you want the audience to have that feeling. They're compelled to know where this story could possibly go. And because I don't have an obvious problem here, then I better do a darn good job in answering that question for the audience. It's almost like a punchline setup type situation. Okay, if you don't clearly spell out a problem, then you had better answer that question. Where is this going? And you better have like some sort of polarization there, which we have. Okay, so those are my thoughts on that. And so I'm like, okay, well, let me come up with an ending. Okay, and then I wrote out a few endings, and the ending I came up with was the robot tells the man he loves him and then hugs him to death. So in that case, I was like, what if the robot is almost too human-like? So human-like that when he goes to hug the man, the old man, he hugs him to death. He squeezes him. Okay. And this would make a great sort of micro short film. I think once you hear the beginning, middle, and end and the idea, I think it would. Okay, so the robot tells the man he loves him, and then he hugs him to death. Okay, so it's kind of a sad, dubious ending. So then I write some beginnings out, and then the beginning I chose was an old man builds a robot he believes is the most human-like ever. Okay, so you see how it's a reflection of the end. The old man builds a robot that he believes is very human-like, and in the end, the robot tells the man he loves him and then hugs him to death. So we have something there. And then the middle I came up with is the old man hugs his robot once he's completed, put the final touches on or whatever, and proclaims, "I love you." He's so excited. He says, "I love you." All right. And that is the middle. All right. So this would make a very interesting, 2 to 5 minute short film. And please excuse my kids for yelling and crying in the background. That's what they do, especially when you're recording or on the phone or whatever you're doing to yourself. Anyway, okay. So we have this beginning. An old man builds a robot he believes is the most human-like ever. And then the middle, the old man hugs his robot once complete and proclaims, "I love you" to the robot. And the end, the robot tells the man he loves him and then hugs him to death. All right, so here's the idea I came up with. In his tool shed, an old man puts the final touches on his greatest invention, a very human-like robot. After admiring his work for a long moment while drinking a beer, he gets an old baseball cap and puts it on the robot's head. He turns the robot on. The robot looks at him. Excited, the man proclaims, "I love you," and gives him a tight hug. The robot says, "I love you" right back, then hugs the man. His hug grows tighter and tighter and tighter until the man is crushed to death, squeezed to death. That is the idea I came up with, all from seeing the cute couple walking through my neighborhood on a sunny day, almost every sunny day when it's warm. That came from that. All right, so that's it for today. That's number 9. Tomorrow's the final day, day 10. Don't worry, we're going to come up with more short film ideas after that, where I actually go through and do some research. I go online, look for news stories, whatever, and then I'll show you the actual whole process that I go through. But anyway, let me know if you want me to do that, by the way. Comments below. Don't forget to subscribe if you're looking for short film ideas, if you want to learn how to come up with short film ideas and stories as well. This is another good process for coming up with stories and feature films. Okay. All right. So I love you. Talk to you soon. And day 10 is tomorrow.